Welcome back to the PiscesDeadPeople Die Weekly Podcast. We here at the PDPDW say, if you enjoy these, leave a like. Also, comment down below and leave your opinion on my opinion. And while you're at it, be sure to haluva kick that subscribe button and clock that bell to keep up with new episodes. So if you kept up, then you know that I've missed out on a separate podcast for SmackDown and Clash in Paris this weekend. So I'm mixing everything up into just a big old super episode today. SmackDown, Clash in Paris, and Raw all in one. SmackDown in Lyon, France. Our intro was Logan Paul and John Cena basically doing their final build-up for their match at Clash in Paris. It was a good little intro, nothing too special there. It kind of looked like John Cena dug into Logan Paul, a little more than he normally does, which was, I think, kind of needed. Logan Paul looked like he might have been a little, eye-opened because of it, but, doubt it is Logan Paul, right? If he did a face turn, he'd have to change his whole personality across every platform. So, as soon as you start seeing that happen, then just expect a face turn. But, good intro, nonetheless. 3.33 out of 5 stars. Kind of down the middle, nothing too special, but a final promo for a match. Our first match of SmackDown was Alexa Bliss versus Chelsea Green, which was supposed to be the Secret Service versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And then the Secret Service and Chelsea came out, attacked, it hurt Charlotte. Charlotte had to go. It made it a singles match. That already, going into it, is taking some points off for me. It's like you advertised a multiple title matches for this SmackDown. And then you turned around and just took one away by writing in that somebody came in and attacked. If that was going to happen, you should have never, WWE, if that was going to happen, you should have never went on there and promoted that as one of the 3 matches that were coming up. Next week on SmackDown, be sure to watch this tag team women's match. It's going to happen. Not really. If it's going to be swapped up like that, then why even promote it? But the match itself was not terrible. Who am I kidding? It was kind of bad. I saw a couple of mess ups here and there. The only thing that kept these scores as high as they could have, as high as it is because of the crowd energy. Everybody in France bumped up these scores tremendously, just because that's a big factor in my rating system is the crowd engaged, and they were, for basically every match. So this entire match, Alexa Bliss versus Chelsea Green, which Alexa Bliss won, got a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Passing grade, but could have been better. Our next match after that was Michin versus Kiana James, if you can even really call it a match. The bell rang, but that's going to be up there next to Rey Mysterio versus JBL's match as one of the quickest matches ever. But just basically a small little roll-up after Kiana James tried to hit Michin with the briefcase/purse, and it missed Michin. Michin did a roll-up, and then Kiana and Julia did some real dirty style finishers on the steel steps, and I think that's going to put Michin out of action for a bit, but technically Michin is due a U.S. title shot now. So, just saying. Michin won that match. That match got a 3.42 stars out of 5. Only because there was nothing really for me to grade. I'm definitely not going to give it a high match, considering it was less than 30 seconds. But 3.42, we'll leave it at that. After that, we got a Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton promo. Basically, looking like it's hinting at a match between them that will come up eventually, which would be nice. Maybe WrestlePalooza. That's the next thing we're building up to. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. We might just have a pretty big matchup there. But I like how Drew got in Randy's ear about Cody, and Randy wasn't just like, "Hey man, nah, I'm on Cody's side." No, he's like, "Okay, no, I hear you," but If you think that I only came out and attacked you because of Cody, then you got another thing coming. I have my own personal beef with you too, which, was nice. But that promo wound up getting a 4 out of 5 stars, which led into the next to last match of the night, the Street Profits versus Mello Don't Miz. And last week I had said I believe that Mello Don't Miz is going to wind up winning it. And then the Wyatt Six was going to wind up messing up the Miz, causing them to lose their shot against them. But it looks like the Wyatt Six messing up Miz came earlier than I expected, because it actually messed up this match for them. And where Mello and Miz had a good little momentum gain going towards the end of the match, it just took the Wyatt Six sneaking up behind Miz and just looking at him, and it took him out of his game. He got knocked out by Angelo Dawkins, and Mello wound up getting pinned. So, Street Profits versus Wyatt Six at Clash in Paris, which was the only match that I actually couldn't or didn't get a chance to do a prediction video on, because I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown until later. But nonetheless, prediction-wise, I'm not going to say who I would have picked, just because the match is done now. But nonetheless, we'll talk about that as we get there. The main event for SmackDown was Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship. And boy, that was a good match. Speaking of good matches, the Street Profits versus Mello Don't Miz was the best match of the night, ratings-wise, with a 4.66 out of 5 stars. But the Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa match was my favorite match of the night, getting a 4.42 out of 5 stars. But Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa, it was really good. Really, it stretched out, and not too much. It wasn't like when is this ever going to be over? It felt earned. It felt like a very earned one. No hate on Solo, no hate on Sammy or anybody. The MFT, Sammy handled them pretty good. Look, Sammy won. Congratulations, Sammy. You are the new United States champion. And I look forward to seeing how long you hold on to that belt for. So, with all that being said, that gives SmackDown a rating of 3.8 out of 5 stars. And yes, that is the worst rated show that I've done so far. And look, not hating, it's just what I see in front of me. I'm sure everybody was just holding on to whatever energy they had for Clash in Paris, which we're going to talk about next. Clash in Paris, I thought we were going to start off with an intro, but I think intros are just mainly for regular shows like SmackDown and Raw, maybe bigger ones like SummerSlam and WrestleMania, where you have somebody come out and say, "Are you ready?" and lead into it like that. But Clash in Paris, they just got straight into it with the Big Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns match. The Ulafala versus the Shulafala. And if you thought Roman Reigns was going to lose, you was wrong. I mean, seriously, who thought that Big Bronson Reed was really going to beat Roman Reigns? I mean, at the end of the day, he got flattened like a pancake, but Roman Reigns did win that match. And what a match it was. They went back and forth and back and forth. And I just got to say, Roman Reigns needs to slow up on that Ozempic, because that midsection of his looks like it's about to just disappear. I mean, and look, that was before Big Bronson Reed decided to just, drop a wrecking ball on him almost as many times as he did Seth Rollins. But good match, 4.5 out of 5 star match to start the night. Pretty good. Led into the second match of the night, the Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six picks up the victory after a long and endured match. They pretty much pulled out every trick in the book, and I'm really glad that Angelo Dawkins didn't just turn around and just catch an attitude with Montez Ford, I don't know, just because of what the Wyatt Six said getting into their head. And he's like, is he really your brother? Oh, we'll see when the time comes. And just like, and then starting off the match, Angelo's like, nah, I'm going in first. Get out of my way, kind of bull crap. And I'm just glad that it didn't take, 5 minutes and then they were back on the same page again. But Wyatt Six won that match, 4.23 out of 5 stars, leading into the third match of the night and the worst rated match of the night. Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch picked up the victory, but the performance in this match, it hurt. Just first off, the one bad kick to the knee that Nikki gave Becky earlier in the match, and then after that, Becky having her head slammed against the announcer tables. You can clearly see her hands slapping the tables just over and over and over again. Was not playing that off well at all. And then whenever Nikki went and tried to jump off the turnbuckle, she did not look to see if Becky was in play and just jumped off way too early. It was terrible. I hate to say that. I really do. But it is what it is. Like I said before, the only thing that's given this a high score at all, like a tolerable score at all, was the crowd. The crowd was behind every match. So it bumped it up from probably what would have been like a 2 point something to a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So, thank the crowd for that one, girls, because you did not bring your A game. After that, it was Rusev versus Sheamus. A lot of people kind of questioned, did this really need to be a PLE match? It's like, look, sure, especially European PLE. Rusev and Sheamus, that's a perfect match for any European PLE, whether it was Bash in Berlin or Clash in Paris or anything in between. Nonetheless, though, it was a 4.23 out of 5 star match. That good old-fashioned Donnybrook was brutal. So many different ways that they found to hurt each other, and Rusev ending it in that submission with the broken shillelagh in the mouth of Sheamus. That's as brutal as it can get. So, respect for Rusev for creativity. I hate that my man Sheamus did not win, but it was a hell of a match regardless. Leading into the next to last match of the night, John Cena versus Logan Paul. What Logan Paul said would bring in some real views. Cena versus Paul. And look, that was a perfect match. It was a 5-star match. John Cena won. Logan Paul brought his A game. Logan Paul made John Cena go on for a long match. And I could not be more proud of both Cena and Paul. Cena to be on his retirement tour, and Paul being an up-and-comer, essentially. He's been there for 4 years, but only did 23 matches. Up-and-comer is what I'd register that as, and they both nailed it in this match. 5 out of 5. It was beautiful to watch. And I look forward to more Logan Paul stuff. I know that he's across the internet on every other thing available, but maybe he'll start coming around more if a world title shot is offered his way and he's forced to try to defend it more that way. But either way, that leads into the main event of the night. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus LA Knight versus Jey Uso. And once again, this was a picture-perfect 5-star match. From the drama to the moves to the strength of the moves to the teamwork to, like, look, guys, you know art. I know art when I see it. You guys know art when you see it. And with it ending with the hooded masked Becky basically getting a cheap shot in on CM Punk. I don't know if that officially makes Becky a member of the Vision or not, but regardless, the leader of the Vision is her hot husband. So, I ain't hating. What a match. 5 out of 5 stars. Seth Rollins won. The predictions that I had go as followed. If you saw my predictions video, but I predicted Roman Reigns was going to win, and he did. I did not have a chance to predict for the Wyatt Six and Street Profits match. But if I'm being honest, I probably would have said Street Profits, but I'm not going to count this towards my predictions since I didn't do a video. The Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch match, I thought Nikki Bella was going to win, but she did not. And honestly, with how many bad moves she was doing during the match, I was kind of like, nah, she doesn't deserve it. I ain't even trying to hate. I'm just saying, look, if you can't even look behind you to see if people are in place before you jump off a turnbuckle, then maybe you don't need to have a title. Rusev versus Sheamus, I thought was going to wind up being Sheamus, but it was Rusev, and that's okay with me. I'll admit my losses. But John Cena versus Logan Paul, I did think John Cena was going to win, so that puts me at 2-2 for the night. But I did think LA Knight was going to wind up winning that Fatal 4-Way that Seth Rollins won. So technically that puts me at 2 correct predictions and 3 incorrect predictions and 1 no prediction for the night. So that's where I am. I feel like I could have done a little better, but these are all up in the air anyway. It's not based off of skill or anything else. It's just based off of what they have writing in the back. Happy to have seen it. I enjoyed the PLE. And overall, Clash in Paris got a 4.603 out of 5 stars. 4.603 out of 5 stars. Really good. Pretty sure that's like the second, maybe third best rated one that I have so far. But that leads us in to Monday Night Raw. We started off with the intro of Jey Uso and LA Knight, kind of talking back and forth about what happened, and basically started off with Jay wanting to come out and be like, Seth Rollins and crew, just come on out, I want to spank you. And then LA Knight's like, nah, I want to spank you. And then the Bronze came out and said, we'll spank both of you. And that was our main event of the night. LA Knight, Jey Uso versus The Vision, with no Paul Heyman and supposedly no Seth Rollins, at least not yet. But the first match of the night was Kabuki Warriors versus Judgment Day, and the Kabuki Warriors pulled it off, though it was not the prettiest match. It did wind up getting a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The Jey Uso and LA Knight promo was a 4.17 out of 5 stars. But yeah, no, I saw a couple bad mistakes, and not to mention that they didn't in the Kabuki Warriors versus Judgment Day match. They did not. It was just the same moves that you see every time they get in the ring. Which, I'm not hating. They put in the work, but it's just sometimes you got to mix it up. And I don't say you got to put in a new move every match to make it special. But if I know your move from a mile away, then is there a point in me really watching the match? Maybe, but that's just my interpretation of it. But after that, we did get word that for the vacant Women's World Championship, we will have a match. Io Sky versus Stephanie McCool is the first official match at WrestlePalooza on ESPN. So be sure to get that ESPN account up and running. I'm going to do that soon myself. September 20th is when that's going to be. So definitely be sure to get your stuff in order. But yeah, that's the match. Io Sky versus Stephanie McCool. I don't know. I'm not going to do predictions till I see other matches. You know how I do. I got to have at least 3 matches set up before I start doing predictions. But that's an interesting one to think about. That leads into our second match of the night, Finn Balor versus Dragon Lee. And look, just like with Finn Balor versus AJ Styles, and just like with Dragon Lee and his match at Triple Mania. They brought it. 5 out of 5 stars all the way through. It was a picture-perfect match. Everything. Look, if you didn't see it, go watch it yourself. Tell me where there was a mess up. Tell me where there was bad timing. Tell me. That was like watching Batista and Rey Mysterio going head-to-head back in the day. And no hiccups. Everything looked natural. Everything looked real because the timing was impeccable. It was a perfect match. It deserves a 5 out of 5 stars. After that, it leads into the New Day, the full New Day. Thank God for the New Day and Grayson Waller, which, is what I mean by full New Day, versus Penta and the War Raiders. First off, what an interesting concept that was, and to watch the War Raiders do the Penta dance was amazing. Penta and the War Raiders did wind up winning, and the War Raiders and Penta wound up bringing the third best match of the night with a 4.42 out of 5 stars. I wonder if that's going to wind up crushing the Penta and New Day beef, or if this is just the beginning. But nonetheless, that leads into the next match of the night, which is AJ Styles versus Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental Champion. And thanks to El Grande Americano, Dom walked out the victor. Good match. And, just like with AJ Styles and Finn Balor, Dom wasn't bad, but, he didn't have as much chemistry with AJ. So while this was the best match the second best match of the night, it was not a 5-star match. It was a 4.63 out of 5 stars. But nonetheless, great match. Dom won, retained his title. Just got to say, everybody was kind of joking on Dom before, but since he's won that belt, he's been retaining. He's had a lot of successful defenses. So, good on you, Dom. Keep up the good work, man. And then we had the promo that ends all promos. We had a very, very aggravated and agitated CM Punk come out after finding out that Seth Rollins was in the building that he had been patiently waiting by the only entrance, supposedly. He goes out to the ring, asks Seth Rollins to come out, talk to him man to man, and then the man shows up, Becky Lynch. And she gets in there and she just basically tells him, no, I've got my own beef with you, and this is why. And I like CM Punk's whole thing. It's just like, Becky, you're great. You deserve every accolade that you've gotten. But it's your husband. He's a paper champion, and I gotta tell him. And after all that mess, Seth comes out, is like, I'm right here. CM Punk tries to take a step, Becky blocks him. Tries to take a step to the side, Becky blocks him. Does a little spin, gets behind Becky, and Seth is just walking off. Turns around and Becky's just starts hitting him and slapping him in the face. And I swear to God, every man who's been in a domestic violence relationship where the woman would hit them and knowing that the law would pretty much keep the man from hitting them back, they felt that promo. I felt that promo. And that was 5 out of 5 stars. If you can make me feel something, you deserve it. That's all I gotta say. And promos don't normally get 5 out of 5 stars with me. Most of the time, I think only one other promo has gotten 1 so far. Unless you're actually in the ring and you were fighting most of the time and putting your body on the line, I don't think you deserve that 5 out of 5 stars. But yeah, no, they got my heartstrings. You got to see Becky in a light that she hasn't been in. She's in a promo that involves like people in a higher status right now, and I don't mean it by males, but it's like the people who are in a main event type scenario, and she's in the middle of it, and wonderful. 5 out of 5 stars. I gotta move on. I wound up getting emotional over it. But then the main event of the night, LA Knight and Jey Uso versus The Vision. was a pretty good match. Not gonna lie. I like that LA Knight actually eventually leaned into doing teamwork with Jey Uso, even though LA Knight was like the most adamant about, nah, I ain't teaming up with anybody. I got this on my own. I'm the megastar. Yeah. But eventually Jey came around, LA Knight came around, even though Jey was the last person to turn his back on the crew, or like CM Punk being the crew, but by super kicking him before Clash in Paris, making everybody think, did Jey go bad, or is he just following Roman's advice? But it seems that he and Knight did pretty good against the Vision, even though they lost. A 4.47 out of 5-star main event, though. Nonetheless, the Vision walks away with the victory. And we got to see Big Brother Jimmy come out and help out Jey. And we heard Jey under his breath telling Jimmy, I can't do it on my own. I need you. I can't do it on my own. It's like, dang, main event Jey Uso. Look, you can do it with solo matches, obviously. One-on-ones. You could be a single star like that. But nobody expected you to be able to take down two guys at once. And I know you got LA Knight, but it's like not like y'all are actually tag team partners. You were for that night, but y'all didn't. Come on. So maybe this will be the start of Jey, Jimmy, and Roman, and maybe Jacob and Sammy grouping up for War Games. Because that's not too long, not too far away, like 2 months or so, 2.5 months. So, nonetheless, this show, Monday Night Raw, got a 4.463 out of 5 stars total. And that's it for our wrestling weekend and beginning of it for Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, by the way. We still got that Dominic Mysterio versus Vikingo match coming up at Worlds Collide on September 12th. And we got our official first WrestlePalooza match with Io Sky versus Stephanie Vicor for the Women's World Championship. Because everything's building up to WrestlePalooza right now. The first ESPN PLE. Yeah, that they're putting all their money in that right now. So, if you enjoy what I do, leave a like. Also, comment down below and leave your opinion on my opinion. And while you're at it, be sure to haluva kick that subscribe button for me. It's much appreciated, and much love to the ones who do. Alright everyone, I'm jumping off here. Peace.